I haven't talked about this yet, but
40-year-old man named Justin Baldoni and others in California claiming that she was dealing with harassment.
Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
It is that many of the cast and crew had unfollowed Baldoni on social media and started to ask questions. These turned to rumors of misbehavior on set by Baldoni.
The battle between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively heats up. The Gossip Girl actress has begun to share the toll it's having on her personal life.
TMZ reported that Blake Lively has told people that there were multiple reasons that Justin Baldoni made her feel uncomfortable. It's a feminist buzzword. Uncomfortable on set of It Ends With Us.
The real storm began to brew once Blake turned her attention to a completely different project, one that would unleash lawsuits, countersuits, and a wave of public scrutiny.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle. And I hope people find it inspiring, and yet also, it's a film about a heavy topic. It's about domestic violence.
Before we dive into the chaos of It Ends With Us, let's take a moment to appreciate who Justin Baldoni is. Most know him from Jane the Virgin, where he played the charming and earnest Raphael Solano. But Baldoni is also a determined filmmaker and philanthropist, not shying away from intense or emotional projects. He's spoken about wanting to create stories that challenge social norms and offer a human experience.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's got snot coming out of my nose.
So, naturally, adapting Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel It Ends With Us seemed like a dream project for him. The book tackled the complicated cycle of domestic abuse and soared on bestseller lists, capturing a massive fan base hungry for an on-screen version. Baldoni's involvement brought excitement. He had a proven track record of heartfelt storytelling, and fans trusted him to maintain the novel's emotional core.
And being frank, if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation. So the message, to answer your question, the message is very simple. As men, we need to embrace all of the parts of us that make us human. That's it. It's very simple.
Nobody suspected that this promising adaptation would devolve into a high-profile fiasco. Meanwhile, Anna Kendrick watched from afar as two people she'd separately worked with, Blake and, indirectly, Justin, got into a quagmire of accusations and behind-the-scenes drama. She couldn't have known just how far-reaching the fallout would be, or that A Simple Favor 2 would eventually be sucked into the same swirling rumor mill.
Blake Lively is facing yet more drama, this time with her co-star Anna Kendrick, which she's already done before, but of course is facing again.
Released in late summer, It Ends With Us was a commercial slam dunk, crossing the $350 million mark worldwide. Fans showed up in droves, praising the cinematography, the romance, and the emotional performances. By all accounts, it should have been a triumphant moment for both Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, an achievement that soared above everyone's expectations. Behind closed doors, however, tensions had already exploded into a silent war.
How quickly do you...
Don't touch me.
Sources close to the production reported that Blake felt unsupported during filming, accusing Baldoni and certain Wayfarer executives of ignoring concerns about set conduct. In turn, Baldoni's team claimed Blake was overstepping and making demands that threatened to derail the entire production if not met. Then the fireworks really went off. Blake filed a legal complaint accusing Baldoni of sexual harassment, intimidation, and orchestrating a smear campaign against her.
Yeah, I sort of struggled with that because I've sometimes judged her for being so confident.
The phrasing was intense, asserting that she had endured repeated discomfort on set, only to be dismissed by those in power. Shortly afterward, Baldoni fired back with his own lawsuit, painting Blake as the one who had manipulated the production, refusing to promote the movie unless her conditions were satisfied.
And Anna's just an egomaniac, as you can see. So,
yeah.
I learned a lot from her.
Yeah.
When these revelations came to light, fans reacted in two wildly different ways. Some rallied behind Blake, arguing that if someone feels unsafe at work, they have every right to speak out, especially on a film dealing with domestic abuse.
The idea that people think that they know you, I think because of how intrusive media is these days, people care so much more about your personal life than they do your work. And if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
Others sided with Baldoni, insisting that Blake's track record of wanting authorship might have turned into a quest for control that threatened the movie's success. Caught between sensational headlines and outraged fans, the movie's once shining image took a beating. Brand deals, press tours, and awards chatter were overshadowed by swirling accusations, with both parties labeling the other's claims categorically false.
When they do these junkets, they can set rules, like no, because they can hold the cards. Lewis and I have experienced this. When you do a junket, is what it's called, these interviews for the movies, they bring in journalists and they'll say you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that.
In a matter of weeks, the entire project's legacy shifted from meaningful drama to Hollywood meltdown. But how does Anna Kendrick factor into this storm? She wasn't part of It Ends With Us, yet the tremors of Blake versus Baldoni soon traveled straight to her front door, in the form of A Simple Favor 2.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
We're talking about you all.
It's no secret that lawsuits in Hollywood can escalate. Blake's attorney fired one salvo after another, describing sophisticated smear tactics, digital armies, and orchestrated moves to tarnish her credibility.
And she'll be getting private coaching from an expert on how to handle any questions that could be thrown at her.
Justin's legal team accused Blake of twisting facts, brandishing unproven claims as a power play, and threatening to sink the film if she didn't get her way. For some onlookers, it was reminiscent of other high-profile legal battles, intense, personal, and all too public. The tension in press interviews was palpable.
Attempting to stay somewhat neutral, I do have some compassion for her in that regard, but at the same time, this is a problem that is a problem now based on her prior interviews.
Baldoni conspicuously avoided certain premieres, fueling speculation that he wanted to stay clear of Lively on the red carpet. Meanwhile, references to mental health struggles started popping up. Justin opened up about anxiety, presumably aggravated by the swirling chaos. Amid this, fans of It Ends With Us felt torn. Some described it as a heartbreak to see such a powerful story overshadowed by real-life feuding. Others questioned whether the cast's behind-the-scenes tension invalidated the movie's message.
And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list. I didn't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like, okay, think of someone, think of someone. Bob Newhart, I don't know.
In a matter of weeks, the entire project's legacy shifted from meaningful drama to Hollywood meltdown. But how does Anna Kendrick factor into this storm? She wasn't part of It Ends With Us, yet the tremors of Blake versus Baldoni soon traveled straight to her front door, in the form of A Simple Favor 2.
I just can't imagine how uncomfortable tonight has been trying to dodge all of these questions and pretend like nothing is wrong.
Naturally, Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively were both set to reprise their original roles. Under normal circumstances, this announcement would be cause for celebration, two beloved co-stars returning for more comedic thrills. But the public mood had shifted. Blake Lively's legal drama with Justin Baldoni had changed how fans viewed her. Suddenly, Anna's social media posts about the upcoming sequel were flooded with negative remarks about her co-star.
Because Anna Kendrick is pretty honest herself. And that felt like a complete, I'm not going to say anything mean, but I'm going to do it in a sarcastic way like you do to me all the time, and then I'll play like it's a laugh.
One commenter wrote, "Sorry, Anna, I refuse to watch anything with Blake these days." Another asked if Anna would let Blake hijack the sequel too.
Ryan several years ago, so I met Blake a few times through Ryan on that film.
Got it.
And thought she seemed nice, and little did I know. Some people, now that it's a function on Twitter and Instagram, there's a couple people that I have muted.
Good.
Yeah.
To complicate matters further, whispers suggested that Blake insisted on new negotiations about top billing in the credits. Anna, who carried top billing in the first film, presumably had no reason to relinquish it. After several rounds of negotiations, they allegedly settled on staggered billing, a compromise often used when two stars both feel they deserve first place.
Anna Kendrick had issues working with Blake Lively years ago, and even though they did a sequel together, it looks like those issues are still there because now she's visibly shunning her.
Even so, tensions remained uncomfortably high. Anna was used to positivity and unwavering support from her fans. Now, she faced the possibility that viewers might skip the sequel purely to protest Blake's involvement. People began labeling it Anna's drama, as if she and Blake were in direct conflict. In reality, Anna had simply landed in the crossfire of her co-star's ongoing controversies, and she wasn't happy about it. The question is, how does Anna react when fans start asking for answers? Does she risk siding with Blake or condemning her? Or does she try to quietly weather the storm?
There's also rumors that Anna Kendrick is pissed because Amazon wouldn't release this movie in theaters because of fears over Blake Lively's reputation.
For someone who has spent her entire career shying away from feuds, Anna now found herself in an impossible position. Keeping silent might suggest she was condoning Blake's alleged overreach, while speaking up could risk fanning the flames or alienating the studio. Insiders claim Anna hoped Blake would at least send a personal message acknowledging the tension, but nothing came. Instead, Blake seemed to have retreated from the spotlight, letting legal teams handle any residual fallout. Meanwhile, Anna tried to promote the sequel with her usual upbeat charm, posting glimpses of scripts or behind-the-scenes snapshots. Yet each time she appeared online, new rumors sparked. Do you and Blake even talk anymore? Asked some fans. Others declared they would boycott any project tainted by Lively's drama. Caught in the swirl, Anna began limiting her social media presence. Some of her close confidants say that for the first time, she felt genuinely stressed about how the world saw her involvement. She wasn't used to defending herself against controversies. She'd never needed to. Now, the daily avalanche of fan speculation hinted that her golden reputation might be in jeopardy through no direct fault of her own. With A Simple Favor 2 inching closer to its release date, tensions remain thick. At film festivals or press junkets, publicists do their best to direct the conversation toward lighthearted topics, quirky comedic moments, the exciting new plot, even Anna's love of singing. But everyone knows the unspoken question. Has the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni fiasco permanently stained this film, and will Anna Kendrick's name get dragged down with it? Some observers argue that fans can separate behind-the-scenes feuds from on-screen storytelling. Others insist that a performer's real-life controversies inevitably spill into how audiences perceive their work. For Anna, the frustration lies in feeling overshadowed by a scandal she didn't create. She remains hopeful that moviegoers will judge the sequel on its own merits, praising or criticizing it for the story, not the baggage swirling around its co-star. Then there's the uncertain future for Blake Lively's image. Until recently, she was admired for her style, her family-oriented persona, and her comedic timing. Now, some see her as too controlling or embroiled in too many dramas. Justin Baldoni, likewise, must face the aftermath of a lawsuit that calls his behavior into question. In the court of public opinion, few come out unscathed once legal battles go public. The saga that began with subtle banter on the set of A Simple Favor escalated into full-blown Hollywood warfare, involving multiple lawsuits and scorching headlines. Anna Kendrick, once a near-mythical figure of positivity, now finds herself in the eye of the storm, not by choice, but by association. Whether A Simple Favor 2 can dodge the negativity and stand on its own merits is anyone's guess. For fans, it's a complex puzzle. Do you set aside personal feelings about Blake's controversies to support Anna and revisit the stylish world of A Simple Favor? Or do you skip the film in protest of the behind-the-scenes turmoil? Only time will tell if public sentiment cools off enough to let the sequel shine, or if the real-life drama eclipses everything else. So, what do you think? Does Blake Lively owe Anna Kendrick and their team an apology for dragging them into this mess? Or has Hollywood's rumor mill exaggerated these feuds beyond recognition? Let us know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed diving into the twists and turns of this story, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious and keep your eyes open for the next Hollywood surprise. Remember, sometimes the biggest shocks happen off the screen.